Welcome, fellow modelers. Today, doing our first actual kind of a little bit more in-depth model railroad video. Kind of tell you guys the current projects that I have going on here, which, as you can see, is quite a bit. Um, Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm trying to create my own personal railroad. Of course, a fake railroad, but something that I will make a name for, something that I'll make a paint scheme for. I'm picking out the power, trying to do specific older power, and things like that. So today, just gonna show you guys what I got going on here. As you can see, a lot of it is older Athearn blue box. I'm kind of taking a break from some of the more high-end detailed stuff that I normally work on, and taking a step back and working on some nice older blue box kits. I will be doing some detailing on these. I won't be going full super detail on these. I do kind of want them to be just a nice, well done representation of what blue box can be. Nice paint and a few details, but not full underframe detail or grab irons and stuff like that. Just kind of want it to be a nice representation of just a simpler time of what the kits can be and what they were. And so here I'm just kind of doing some part swapping on a couple things. I guess before I get into this, I'll kind of go over my roster a little quick for you. I have a handful of U30 and 33Cs, some GP38-2s, GP50s. I have a F7A, and then I have a B unit coming for that, and I might be getting a few more. I have a Proto 2000 Jeep 30, and then in the back here are some Atlas silver, I think it's Silverline or something like that. B30-7s and U33Cs, and then old Alco. I can't remember what the exact designation is for that right now. And I've got some more stuff on the way yet. I'm trying to replace some of these painted shells. I'm trying to find new old stock undecorated shells, like you guys can see I have quite a few of here. It's just easier to work with and then paint, and I don't have to worry about stripping paint. Some stuff, like some of the Atlas stuff, is going to have to be paint stripped and then repainted, but that won't be too bad. I'm just trying to save myself some hassle on some of this blue box stuff. And then so there's a couple things that I want for this railroad, and I'm kind of taking some ideas from railroads that I watched when I was younger, growing up in Michigan. Spent a lot of time around Durand, Michigan, Pontiac, Michigan, Holly, Michigan, and a couple other places, Bay City, Allen Park, Detroit, a little bit of everything. So of course I do have a lot of GT Grand Trunk. You guys will see a lot of that stuff. So my railroad, I'm kind of taking bits and pieces from the Tisby, the Central Michigan, and Grand Trunk Western. So I'm kind of taking ideas from all three of those railroads and utilizing that as my power. I am taking a lot of ideas from the Tisby and Central Michigan because I really like the power that they had back in the day. So of course that's why I have a lot of these U-boats with the AAR Type B Elco trucks. And that's also something that I'm running on my GP38-2s. You guys can see I took out the dynamic hoods and put in non-dynamic hoods. Basically I want everything that I run to be non-dynamic. Most of it with the AAR Type B Elco trucks, because I love how those trucks look, especially on a bigger locomotive like a Jeep 38 or a Jeep 50. Those have it too. And then This Jeep 30 back here was originally an Atlantic Coastline. Trying to move some stuff around here. And I got it. I didn't buy it because it was Atlantic Coastline. I bought it because it was non-dynamic from the factory. Had the dynamic fan sealed up, and then no vents on the side there. So with me running pretty much everything non-dynamic, this kind of fit in really good. It's the only Proto 2000 locomotive that I have in the roster as of right now. Unless if I get another one of these, it'll probably be the only one. I have done a lot of modifying to this to get the trucks that I wanted on there. The side frames, and I believe the whole gearbox itself is from Athearn RTR. And as most of you may know, Proto 2000 basically uses Athearn type trucks, so they're really easy to swap out. But I did do a frame swap on this for a newer frame from Proto 2000, so I had to kind of change some stuff with the trucks. I'm using RTR trucks, but I'm using blue box wheels, just because the RTR stuff kind of runs a smaller wheel, and I like the look of the bigger wheels that the everything blue box has. So it's blue box wheels, RTR trucks, Proto 2000 locomotive. So I kind of had to play around there a little bit, and I'm still working a few bugs out, but it runs pretty decent. All of it is non-DCC, but as you can see, I do have the quick plug equipped panels. Just in case if someday I do eventually switch over to DCC, I will have that option to do it fairly easily, and I won't have to do too much invasive work. So we'll set that back over there. I have a SD40-2 non-dynamic, and that'll be a part of it. I might grab a couple more of those someday, or sooner rather than later. We'll see. And then U33Cs. See, what are those? I'm trying to remember what all I got here. U36Cs, U33Cs, a lot of U-boats. I love the look of these locomotives, and Central Michigan used a handful of them, and so I kind of got a soft spot for those. And then the Tisby used and still use as GLC now, GP35s with the Alco trucks. The blue box 35s they're all kind of older, and they have that split cab to where the top of the cab can come off, and it makes the front windows look really weird. So I'm not a huge fan of those. Plus the shell is a little too wide. So I'm just kind of following through with some of those details on my GP38-2s and my GP50s. Ann Arbor is another railroad that was I seen in Michigan, and it's no longer around anymore. It's long gone. But my time frame for everything is probably 70s, 80s era, because I am running older stuff. No fancy antenna equipment, no ditch lights. Basically just taking stuff back in time a little bit. I'm probably going to try to nail it down more to the 80s, early 80s that I'm modeling this railroad in. But I'll kind of have it span the late 70s, early 80s, somewhere in there. So there's just kind of the broad stroke of what I'm doing with my own personally made up railroad here. I did have a railroad that I kind of made for a little while, and that's where some of my Atlas locomotives were under that. It was a leasing company that I came up with for interchanging. It was BLIX, which was basically my name, Blake Locomotive Incorporated. So I kind of just made that up as a leasing company for some interesting throw-in power back in the day. But now that I kind of have this idea that I want to do my own railroad with an actual name and really pick my power and pick my era. So I'm gonna really be pretty specific with what I'm doing here, um, and have it be an actual thing. And my main goal is one day when I finally get around to constructing a layout, is this railroad will interchange with Grand Trunk Western and do like auto industries in Michigan and stuff like that. My layout is going to be heavily based on uh, Pontiac, Michigan, where I grew up, and around Detroit as well. A lot of time there. So a lot of auto industries in Michigan basically is what I'm going for. So this railroad will do a lot of servicing for that, yard runs, mainline runs, short line runs. I'm going to operate it as a short line, or actually it would be considered regional, but basically a short line. So back to this. What I'm doing here, and I'll show you guys, is I'm trying to upgrade my running gear and everything on these older blue box. I have nothing against blue box stuff. I'm still utilizing the trucks and even some of the motors and the shafting, but some of these units are getting newer motors from Athearn Ready to Run series, getting the Ready to Run panels, the quick plug equipped panels, and then of course the hex head shafts, along with the new worm gear. Truck gears are staying the same. Wheels, I'm utilizing only older blue box wheels because they're the nice bigger size. I've just recently restored all those, so those are all wheels that I'm actively throwing in some of these trucks. Some of these I've gotten as dummies. You guys can see the dummy trucks. They just come with the old plastic wheels and no pickup post on the one side and no gearing. So I'm switching the trucks over to basically stuff like this that has the pickup on it, and put gears in there and everything. Get those up and going. I got a couple sets ready to go for other stuff. So yeah, so the couple of the big things that I really wanted is non-dynamic. I want everything non-dynamic. I want most everything with the Alco type trucks. The U33 and U36Cs are keeping their prototypical trucks. If I can get a good shot on those. One thing that the Central Michigan had that I looked into and was able to locate was they used to have it's a B30-7AB. So it's basically one of these guys, only it's a B unit, so it has no cab, and then it's got a it's the same ones Burlington Northern ran. They acquired theirs from the Burlington Northern, so they have the filter box that kind of sticks up right behind where the cab would be. And I located a couple shells on eBay that fit Atlas frames. So these two locomotives are going to lose their shells, and they're going to be recreated as B units. So those will be really cool. Another kind of a neat piece. Like I said, I do plan on getting some one or two more F7As, and then another B. I have one on the way right now. I would like to do an ABBA set with maybe like an extra F7A, but I would like the ability to run the classic ABBA set for the F7s. I've always loved how that looks, so that's something else that I kind of want to incorporate into my fleet here. I'm not doing the Alco trucks on the F7s. I'm using their standard, was it Bloomberg trucks? Bloomberg Type B or something like that. But all the smaller U-boats and the Jeeps are getting the Alco trucks because I love how that looks. So yeah, so I'll show you These I just got in today, and this is a nice representation of just what a standard blue box setup looks like, with the pickup strip that snaps onto the top of the motor, goes to each pickup point on the truck, um, picks up through the frame at the bottom of the motor and through the trucks, and then of course the good old big old cab light that we're no longer utilizing. Um, so this is basically just a kind of a side-by-side of what we're switching to. We're going from this over to a little bit newer style stuff, just so that way I can put individual light bulbs. I want to do incandescent light bulbs in these locomotives, front and rear, for just a better looking headlight. And then I may still utilize these older motors, because there's nothing wrong with these motors. They're still really good, and I do restore a handful of these and keep them running. And then along with these, they have the older clamp style shafts that I would keep too. There's literally nothing wrong with any of this. I even have a couple of these that I kept as is on some of my other equipment. There's not really too big of a speed difference from this over to this. I have quite a few that run really well together. But I'm switching this over to the locomotives that I really want to actually put lights in. And that's really the only reason why I'm using these panels, is because it's easier for me to wire in the lights and then try to like solder resistors and figure out some wiring on this older stuff. So just little upgrades on some of these. Nothing too crazy. Like I said, at the end of the day, I still want these to be where you can tell that they're blue box locomotives, but they're very well done blue box locomotives. We straighten, glue the railings, paint the shells. Another thing that I'm going to incorporate on the SD 40-2 and the Jeeps, and what's already on the GP30, is all-weather windows. And I'm only doing, I'm kind of taking a page out of GT's book and doing all-weather windows on the operator's side, and then doing sunshades on the conductor side, to kind of give it a little bit more character. Horns I have yet to pick out. I think I'm going to run RS5Ts and M3s. I might do a couple K5LAs, because I do have some K5LAs in my horn parts bin right there. I don't have a whole bunch. I have a pretty decent amount of horns, but some of them are off of other projects and some of them have been painted. A lot of K3s, some other stuff, but I kind of just have to figure out exactly what locomotives are going to get what horns. I kind of want to take another idea from Central Michigan with these and do, I'm not 100% sure if they're RS5Ts or S5Ts, but either way, a big 5-chime Leslie horn on these. And maybe kind of do an idea from Grand Trunk and do M3s on the GP38-2s and the GP50s. So just some stuff that I have yet to figure out. Just for little details, I kind of have in my mind the characteristics that I want for my railroad here. So I'm going to do my best to try and figure that out. Still trying to figure out a paint scheme. I'm going to keep it simple. As much as I would like to do hazard lines and stuff like that, it is kind of difficult without special. Not really special, but I'm not the best taper when it comes to painting, especially when you have to get it in all these little nooks and crevices. So I'm probably going to try to keep it just a two-tone, really nice two-tone paint scheme. Have the shell be a color, and then basically have the frame be a color, and call it good enough. Just something that looks nice, something that'll represent a nice 70s, 80s paint scheme, something that looks industrial. and that'll be easy to fix if I ever get nicks or scratches in it, and it won't be a big ordeal for me to repaint anything. So yeah, guys, that's basically what I've got going on here. I'll be working on some of these for quite a while until the weather really starts warming up, and then I'll start to concentrate a little bit more on horns for the spring and summer. So I'm kind of getting in at the tail end of my modeling here, but I will still be working on this stuff throughout the summer, just not as much, and I'll still make update videos and everything. And then of course I'm not just gonna do like just straight half-year videos on this. I got a whole bunch of other stuff that I'm going to show off coming up. Some other locomotives that I've custom built. Done a lot of custom work on some of my stuff, so I want to kind of show you guys that. Give you some ideas to do. And I want this project to kind of be ideas for you. If you're thinking about doing your own railroad and you don't really know what you want to do for it, just kind of use ideas from your past as a kid, if there was something that you liked train watching as a little kid, or if you're still young and you like something right now but you kind of want to throw your own twist on it. Build your own railroad. Buy a couple cheap locomotives. Not everything has to be super detailed and museum quality and stuff like that. I kind of had to really pry myself away from that because I did kind of get stuck in that vicious circle for a long time where everything had to be super detailed, every little detail under the sun, everything had to work really nice. And of course I still want stuff to work nice, but I'm letting myself relax on the detail pretty much. I still, just like these Ann Arbor units, these are really well done. Just a couple little details, nice paint jobs, and it can really make a blue box locomotive look really nice. And I'll kind of show you guys what I did. Forgive me, the lighting is not the best over here, and they're kind of in a dark cabinet. Let's see, I don't think I can turn a light on right now while I'm filming. Anyway, these are all blue box locomotives, the 3-9s that they came out with. If I can get the camera to focus, it's not wanting to, and I don't know why. So yeah, the famous 690 that's on a lot of the boxes, 601, 611, and then 4 of the SD40-2s, 3 of them snoot noses. All these are Athearn blue box. These came with the option to put the plastic yellow railings on, and I went with that option because that saved me a lot of time. Oh, I wish this would focus. There we go. Alright. Now you guys can kind of see that a little bit better. So I went with the option to switch those out because they were included. These are kind of a later blue box, so they were a little bit nicer. They got the full pilots without the cutouts in them that go all the way down. Coupler pockets that actually screw in. And you guys can see I didn't do too much. I threw some sunshades on there, some antennas, some horns, some warning beacons, weathered couplers. I did paint the wheels. Can't really see that from here. The dash 9s, I put the MU cables on there. I put plows on them. I did the metal railings and took my time to get them on there really nice and straight. Painted them really nice. You guys can see the painted wheels. I used to run these at a club a lot. Antenna, put the factory sunshades on. You guys can see I'm running individual light bulbs in there now. These have the RTR panels in them. And then on the back, another MU cable. Even did the spare knuckles on the trucks, because that was a real Santa Fe thing back in the day. And I'll flip it around here. And even did speed recorders with the spare knuckles on them. The railings are still the metal railings that I carefully put on, glued into place really nice and clean, and then painted them up really nice. And then I went and put a little bit more detailed horns on there, have brass casted Leslie's on there. So just little stuff like that. I didn't go too crazy. I threw, just a couple significant details on there to really, just stuff that really sticks out in your mind when you see these locomotives. Like the plows and the MU cables. That's always just simple details that stick out. Like with these, some of the top details on the cabs. That's really about all I did on those. And then, of course, these all have the RTR panel, so they have individual headlights. So that's what I want for my railroad. I want it just to be a really nice, clean, good-looking representation of Blue Box. Not too overdone, but enough to where it looks good and looks presentable, while still making it somewhat easy on me, because I have done some pretty intense projects in the past. So that's basically what we're kind of going for here, is just really nice, classic Blue Box, well done, little extra work put into them, but nothing too crazy, with a still a really nice end result. So yeah, guys, that's about it for this video. Figured I'd just kind of tell you what I got going on here. I have a crap ton of parts for all my Blue Box stuff out and about. Trucks, truck frames, truck details, wheels, gears, shafts, motors, all the pickup strips there. So everything that I need pretty much is at my fingertips right now for this particular project. I'm going to try to get some of this done. I probably won't get to painting this year, I don't think, just because I do have a handful of horn projects that I kind of want to get done over the summer. So I don't know if painting these is going to happen this summer, but if not this summer, for sure next summer we're going to start painting some of this, and you guys will see that in the videos later on. So if you guys have any questions for me, let me know. I love talking to you guys in the comments. I don't really get a lot of comments on my videos, so don't feel like you're bugging me in the comments. Feel free to comment if you like my video, if you hate my video, whatever. I love reading the comments, love talking to you guys, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So hope you guys are excited to kind of see some of this stuff evolve, see my personal railroad come together, and see what we come up with here. So until next time, take care.